Hello everyone, my name is Sam Lotfollahi and I'm an Australian registered migration agent with more than 15 years of experience in Australian migration law. In today's webinar, we'll be talking about one of the most highly sought after visas, which is the Australian Partner Visa Subclass 309-100. If your partner, spouse, or de facto partner lives overseas and wants to join you in Australia, this is the visa you'll need to apply for. It's a two-stage process, but both stages are applied for at the same time. While these visas are typically granted at different times, depending on the circumstances of your relationship, there is also a possibility that they could be granted together or within a short space of time. So let's dive in and explore all the details you need to know to make a successful visa application for Subclass 309-100. Okay, so let's have a look at the overview for Subclass 309-100. First, you have to have a sponsor who's an Australian citizen, a permanent resident, or an eligible New Zealand citizen who is willing to sponsor you and other family members to come to Australia. You and your sponsor have to be at least 18 years of age. In Australia, if you want your marriage to be recognized, you have to be at least 18 years of age when you want to apply for any of the partner visas. Obviously, you have to be able to show the Australian government that you and your partner are in a genuine relationship and you are willing to continue this genuine relationship into the future. When you want to apply for this visa, you have to be outside of Australia along with any other family member that wants to apply with you. As for the processing times, 50% of the applications are processed within 12 months and 90% are processed within 26 months. So you have a range of 12 to 26 months for your visa to be processed. Let's have a look at Subclass 309 eligibility. What makes you eligible for this visa? First up, you and your sponsor should have no visa cancellations or refusals, okay? Now, if you've had a tourist visa refused, that's a different story and you don't have to worry about it. The applicant has to meet certain health requirements and should be of healthy status when applying for the visa. Both the applicant and the sponsor have to meet character requirements and they have to show that they are of good character. And finally, the sponsor and the applicant should have no debt to the Australian government when applying for this visa. Okay, now let's have a look at the entitlements once you're granted the 309 visa. You can live, work and study in Australia. You can travel to and from Australia as many times whilst the visa is valid. You can attend free English classes if you're eligible to take these classes, and you can also apply for access to Australia's public healthcare scheme, which is called Medicare. The sponsor for the Australian partner visa has certain criteria and obligations that they have to adhere to. First, they have to assist their partner and any included family with financials and with accommodations once they come to Australia. As a sponsor, your sponsorship ends 2 years after the temporary partner visa is granted. Now, even if they receive the permanent visa at the same time, still your sponsorship has a duration of 2 years. As the sponsor, you cannot withdraw your sponsorship after the visa is granted, but you can withdraw before Subclass 100 decision is made if anything happens to your relationship. As we said earlier, this is a two-stage visa where you apply for both visas at the same time. Now, you might be given a double grant, which is both visas at the same time, or you might be given the 309 first and after a 2-year waiting period, you apply for Subclass 100. Let's have a look at the overview of Subclass 100. In order to apply for Subclass 100, you have to have a valid visa, which means you have to be a holder of Subclass 309 or a dependent child visa, which is Subclass 445. Also, you have to continue to be in a genuine relationship with your spouse or your de facto partner. Now, when you want to apply for Subclass 309-100, you pay fees for both stages. So the Subclass 100 has no fees as you have already paid all the fees. When Subclass 100 is to be granted, you can be in or outside Australia. It doesn't matter, okay? But if you're outside Australia, you must enter Australia before the first entry arrival date that is on your visa. As for the processing times, as we said, both visas are lodged at the same time. Usually, you're given Subclass 309 first, and after a 2-year waiting period, you apply for 100 and you're given the Subclass 100. Unless you're in a long-term relationship, which then the case officer might decide that, you know what, I'm going to do a double grant and grants you with Subclass 309-100 at the same time. Okay, let's see what are some of the entitlements of the Subclass 100 partner visa. Well, first, you can live, work, and study indefinitely in Australia. On the day that the visa is granted, you become a permanent resident of Australia and you can stay there for as long as you want. If you are eligible, you can attend free English classes. You can apply for access to Australia's public healthcare scheme, which is called Medicare. Usually, if you've spent enough time in Australia and you're eligible, you can apply for citizenship and you can sponsor any eligible family members to come to Australia and join you. Now, let's have a look at some of the frequently asked questions for the Australian Partner Visa Subclass 309-100. First question, can I apply for a tourist visa during the 309 processing? Yes, you can apply for a tourist visa while waiting, although if you are from a high-risk country, you might not be granted the visa. Another question, how long do I need to wait before my permanent partner visa, Subclass 100, is granted after applying? Depends on factors such as relationship evidence, the processing of the temporary visa, and individual circumstances. Usually, from the date that you apply for both of these visas, as we said, Subclass 309-100, you have to wait for a period of 2 years, okay? So you apply for the visa, you wait for 2 years, and then you can apply for Subclass 100 if not granted at the same time. Third question, what if my relationship breaks down after applying for the Subclass 100 visa? Can I still get the visa? Certain protections apply in specific situations such as family violence, the death of your partner, or if there are children involved, okay? Yes, you can still get your Subclass 100 visa. Whilst you can definitely apply for this visa yourself, but since there are so many different changes that comes into effect with the Department of Immigration every now and then, it is always better to make sure that you have full knowledge of what you're doing. Also, this visa is a pretty expensive visa, so you got to make sure that everything is right before you apply for it. With our processing, this is what we do for each of our clients. First, we have a 1 to 1.5 hour full-on phone consultation just to make sure that everything is ready and everything is okay to apply for the visa. We check all eligibility criteria depending on how long you've been together, how long you've known each other. We provide you with a comprehensive checklist that has all the documents that we talked about. You don't have to worry about any forms, as we fill out all the required forms based on the information that you provide us. We will regularly follow up with case officer and the department to make sure that they have everything required to process your visa. And we make sure that clients are kept up to date with all related issues until your visa is granted. Thank you very much for your time for this webinar. I hope that this webinar has been able to shed some light on some aspects of the subclass 309-100 visas. Obviously, you still might have a lot more questions, which we will be more than happy to answer. Please make sure that you subscribe to our channel for any updates regarding the partner visa. Thank you very much. Hope you have a great day, night, wherever you are. Ciao.